Trade barriers between Britain and the North as a result of Brexit must be swept away and not replaced, Democratic Unionist Party leader Jeffrey Donaldson has insisted. Speaking after a meeting on Monday with European Commission Vice President Maroš Šefčovič, Mr. Donaldson also urged London to unilaterally suspend the Northern Ireland Johnson Protocol unless Brussels renegotiates it. My message was simple, Mr. Donaldson said following the virtual meeting. The protocol has not worked, even those who supported its rigorous implementation recognize that. Yeah? The barriers and distortion to trade within the UK internal market brought about by that thing must be swept away and not be replaced. Mr. Donaldson said his party has pressed the UK government to that end. He does know that you can't get rid of the protocol without getting rid of the whole deal. But he said both the UK government and the EU must now renegotiate, he added. If the EU is unwilling to recognize the harm caused by the protocol, then the UK government must take appropriate unilateral action using Article 16. Donaldson, you can't do it in that case. Subjecting NI laws, he says, and regulations upon which its representatives in Westminster has no say can never work and does not have the support of both communities. Well, I know one community that supports that. The contentious Article 16 of the protocol allows the EU or UK to unilaterally suspend aspect of its operation if either side considers that aspect to be causing economic, societal or environmental difficulties. But you have to read the fine print. The protocol was negotiated as part of the Brexit withdrawal agreement to avoid a hard border on the island of Ireland by effectively keeping the North in the EU single market for goods. Resulting additional checks on goods arriving in the region from Britain are opposed by Unionists who believe it threatens the constitutional status of the North within the UK, which is complete nonsense. A grace period relaxing checks and inspections on chilled meats is due to expire in October. On Sunday, leading supermarkets wrote to Mr. Šefčovič and the UK's Brexit Minister David Frost, urging further action before the end of September, if there is not to be significant disruption to supply and an increase in cost for Northern Ireland consumers, they say. The letter urged the UK and EU governments to enter discussions with British retailers, visit their supply chains and distribution centres, and host joint talks between government technical officials and retail supply chain experts to find a working solution. They warned that without swift, decisive and cooperative movement on this issue, there will be disruption, and called on Mr. Frost and Mr. Šefčovič to help us to minimize this disruption and allow us to continue to provide the people of Northern Ireland with choice and affordability. Writing in the Belfast newsletter on Monday, Mr. Donaldson said the Brexit border in the Irish Sea has added significant cost and complexity to trade between Britain and the North and resulted in a growing problem of east-west trade being diverted to the Republic of Ireland and other markets. Mr. Donaldson also railed against the democratic deficit at the heart of the protocol. Well, it's very democratic if Stormont votes for this protocol with a majority, as it happened in December. But Donaldson said in the past 3 months alone, the EU has made 600 pieces of legislation with impact on Northern Ireland businesses, he said. This demonstrates that we can't simply hit the pause button on the protocol. There needs to be a complete reboot of a relationship, and Northern Ireland's place in the UK internal market must be restored in full. The UK government is expected to outline its proposals for the reform of the protocol kinda today. The DUP has said any new arrangements must avoid diversion of trade, give people in the North a say in the making of the laws which govern them. It's easy, rejoin Ireland, and mean no checks on goods going either way between the North and Britain. No new regulatory barriers can develop between the North and Britain unless agreed by the Northern Ireland Executive and Assembly. Yeah, they agreed on that in December. That it's the way it is now. But he said these tests are grounded on the legitimate concerns of local communities and previous broken promises by the UK and EU, said Mr. Donaldson. It's entirely reasonable to expect that they can be met through pragmatic and permanent solutions, Yep, by rejoining Ireland. Mr. Donaldson said the rising social and political instability caused by the current arrangements cannot be simply ignored or wished away. No, but they are a compromise caused by Brexit. But he said it's high time the EU displayed a level of self-awareness, accepted responsibility for these deeply divisive, disruptive and destabilizing arrangements and committed to finding a permanent consensual alternative, he added. Yeah, but the EU is not responsible. Brexit is responsible, and for that only the UK is responsible. Speaking on Monday, Mr. Frost said the protocol must work in a different way if we are to find a stable route going forward. Questions before Westminster's European Scrutiny Committee, Mr. Frost said London's proposal for an equivalence arrangement where both sides recognize each other's food and animal safety standards was being discussed with Brussels. Brussels offered that if you accept the EU standards, but if you lower your standards for Australian or American stuff, it won't work. The EU had been pressing for an alignment arrangement where the UK would agree to follow EU rules. Mr. Frost said the only way the protocol can be made sustainable is by hugely reducing or eliminating barriers between Britain and the North. The boundary it has erected is too dissuasive, too complicated and too chilling of identity in various ways, he told MPs. Mr. Frost said the UK government would outline its proposals today, and I'm looking forward to it. On Mr. Donaldson's remarks that the protocol was not working, Mr. Frost said the more EU understands that, the sooner we are likely to get a good outcome. No, they are not listening to fairy tales. Mr. Frost also criticized the EU's immediate resort to legal weapons after the UK unilaterally extended grace periods, saying it hasn't particularly served well. Well, if you break treaties, of course somebody goes to his lawyer. He said, it's a delicate situation and we need to sort of focus on the politics and the reality of what's happening here, he said. Frost said, while Unionists' unease over the protocol was extremely worrying and troubling, there is no sense that Northern Ireland is not part of the UK. Exactly. It is part of the UK. It is just in the trade for goods part of the EU single market. Boy. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.